I'm guessing you can hear me now since the little icon flashes. We're getting ourselves set up here. Get Discord set. We've got some pretty cool stuff to talk about today. Got a new face to introduce. Welcome to the stage, Mal. Everybody
All
else
right.
in the audience. Let's see. Here we go. There's Michelle's on the stage.
Morning or evening, depending on where you live.
Yes. Welcome to space, Maro. Should I hear something? No, Rocket Unit, can you hear us? Hopefully. Welcome, Willow. Yeah, welcome, Rocket. Welcome, Dash. I'm thinking you're here. It's not really fun to try to read people's names on my phone here. Yeah, there's Dash. Okay.
No, I really do hope that at some point Twitter Spaces are a desktop thing and not just a mobile thing.
Yeah, me too. I'm wondering what happens if I put it on my iPad and talk to everybody through my iPad. Anyways, what time is it? Just another minute or so. Welcome to this Friday. What is it? Friday, March 3rd. Man, the February just disappeared, didn't it? It's like poof.
Oh my gosh, it went by so fast.
Look down, look up. It's March. Yay! Farmer Michelle's not yelling today. Way to go,
I'm
Michelle.
trying to be quiet.
Way to go. Have we seen Nate yet? Is that a listener there? Yes, NFT Nate. Do a request to be a talker. Nate's joining us today on stage. Got Doodle hanging out in the audience as well. You need to hit the request so you can be up on stage and join us in this talk.
Howdy, everybody. Happy to be here.
There's Nate. Okay. So, how about we get started? What do you think, Michelle?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, let me just kick us off here. So, welcome everybody to the March 3rd version of the Townstar Weekly AMA. We've been doing these things since June. I actually went and looked up the notes. There was some notes in our Notion about when we doing them back in June 2022. So, for everybody who's new here, welcome. This is where we get together and just share notes from the team about what's happening, both on Townstar Live, Townstar Godot, answer questions for people in the audience. And one of the key things that we like to do is like we say, we like to walk the talk. And what does that mean? Well, it means we are very, very careful on what we promise, and then try to make sure we deliver. Now, this week's AMA, we're going to be talking about some of the things that we weren't able to deliver as planned. It's mostly getting the game turned on and, have some new updates on earnings and stuff like that. But we always try to do our best as a team to really say what we're going to do and then just do it. And so if it seems like we're sometimes a little cagey, a little short in our answers, like we have some information, but we can't tell you yet, that's simply because we just want to make sure that what we tell you, we at least have a plan and really believe in. So, well, that's it. We got some new people joining us. A couple of people are missing today. Mysterious and Volcron are out. Volcron is on a vacation. Mysterious is on up to something else. But we do have a couple of new people joining us. We'll introduce as we go. And yeah, so let's get things kicked off.
Let's do it. Let's see. I think I was going to start this week by saying that we were going to update the requirements for the milk storage NFTs for the month. We had originally posted it was going to be all 31 days, and we're going to drop that down to 25. So you'll only have to play 25 days, still get 75 total trades at least throughout the month, and then you'll qualify for that rare milk storage. There is still also the common milk storage for playing 10 days, and I think that's 25 trades throughout the month, and the uncommon one for running your Townstar node for 6 hours a day for 10 days throughout the month. So that should allow people a little bit of time in case there was a IP verification issue or they were struggling to get their email open for any reason. So 25 days now instead of 31. Let's see here. We've got a competition starting next Tuesday. That is the fancy cakes. It'd be the first one of 2 fancy cakes, I believe. There were a lot of changes to the requirements for all of the things that are involved in making a fancy cake. So if you haven't started practicing yet, I suggest you get practicing because it's much different than fancy cakes were a couple weeks ago. And you'll probably need to at least try some stuff out. In terms of Townstar Live updates for this week, let's see. Monday we got the Diamond Warehouse and the Fancy Cake Meta went live. We did have a bug fix push midweek because the research center wasn't collecting from the pantry, but that has been fixed now. It's still not collecting from the Epic Wine Cellar NFT, but that should be fixed later today with another update. And that'll be the last update before the competition. So we're not planning on pushing again on Monday, just the update later today. Let's see here. What else is there? This update will also have the Strawberry Storages and the Grain Blaster Ghost card in it, but those are not going to be distributed yet. I don't think that they'll be sent out before the start of the competition, so they'll probably be sent out later in the week or after that. And that's all I've got for Townstar Live updates.
Yeah, let's pause for a second here. The you mentioned changing the date from 30 days or to 25 days because of email verifications and stuff. Can you share a little bit more? We've got that resolved. Should be good.
Yes, the customer support team tells me it should be good now. I think we switched to a different program. I don't know all the technical details, but it should be good now. There was an issue where they were like taking 20 or 30 minutes to show up for some players. There were some people who were not getting the emails at all, so they just couldn't log in because they weren't getting the code. But from what I'm told, all of that has been fixed now, so everybody should be able to log in. If you still are having issues, definitely send a ticket to support, and they'll make sure that it all gets worked out for you. But it should be better going forward.
That's good. Yeah, one of the things we find out as with Townstar, we tend to be moving faster, pushing things, trying new things out that are related to the platform, like this, getting your email confirmation set there. And so I think just this is another case where we ran into, needing the system to be more responsive and act a little faster than it was. So thanks everybody for being patient as we sorted that out.
Yes.
What's next?
I guess we can move on. Yeah, we can move on to Godot updates. I know we don't have Volcron today.
Oh, I know.
We did have a playtest update on Monday. That one had some additional NFTs added. We also added the Trade Depot animations and the stuff flying to your Trade Depot now, which is fun to watch. So that's good. We got that in. And there were some virtual effects added for Edge not met requirements. We also did a lot of bug fixes that went in on Monday, and we should have another update to that playtest build later today, is my guess. And that one has a lot of new features in it, like the grid overlay, some proximity fixes. It'll have the production monitor in it, which is exciting. There's some unit indicators for a couple of units. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is another. We were just talking about it earlier in the meeting this morning. Well, I've got a few bugs left that they're trying to work out the details on, and I'm sure Michelle, once you know when it's coming and certainty, we'll be able to share that out to everybody about when it should be hitting. But yeah, new update today. The goal, and in terms of future updates, we're trying to work as a team to do smaller updates more frequently, just as a sort of a practice, so we don't run into the problem where if we have a lot of issues trying to go into a build that are all held up by 1 or 2 bugs. And so we have the continuous integration and deployment process that we talked about before, where you can basically have live builds done for us just continuously. And so we're going to try to tap into that and speed things up a bit by, again, like I said, releasing little smaller chunks more frequently. Because like in this case, we've had things ready to go. The grid was ready to go out Wednesday, but we had 2 server, or not 2, maybe 3 server bugs that were holding it up, right? So we'll see if we can get that cranking out next week there.
I see Lonely Island asked when expanded playtest. I know we had talked about this yesterday.
Oh, maybe we should talk about it now. What do you think? I know it's a little further down in our list of things to discuss. What are you thinking, Michelle?
We can talk about it now if we want.
Okay. Do you want to share the plan? You want me to share the plan or the top level thinking there? You had some good ideas about that.
Yeah, no, my idea was to open it up to everybody who had received or will have received the 10 days of playing NFT for February. So it'll be the common strawberry storage. So that should open it up to a lot more people, probably most of our Townstar players.
Ah, that'll be good. One of the things we were really careful on with the initial playtest list, we want to make sure our servers just didn't, fall over dead as soon as we had people log in. And we're pretty good. Volcron's feeling very satisfied that we have the capacity to just grow the list by a big chunk this time. So we'll be doing that. Not sure when it's actually going to turn on. Michelle, do you know? Did you have a timing on that we can share?
On what? I'm sorry.
On expanding the playlist, actually opening it up.
I'd imagine we could probably get that out next week. I'd have to talk to Volcron when he gets back from vacation,
Okay,
but I don't think it's that hard to do so.
cool. So expanded playtest next week. Woohoo. And that'll again, just before we jump forward on that, thank you everybody for following bugs. Appreciate it. I know some people are looking like, wow, there's lots of bugs in here. But remember, our goal is to get it out, test the server infrastructure, and then continue to add all the features that are either already in development and fix bugs that we find. So I don't know. We've talked about it a bunch before, but it's the kind of build this in public, talk about it in public, share what we're doing, share what's happening all along so that everybody in the community can just see and understand. I know sometimes if you're not used to the software release process, it can be a little bit disconcerting, but overall, I think we're doing pretty well in terms of having everybody test and really appreciate everybody's contributions there.
Awesome. Well, before we jump into any other questions or talking points, let's take a minute and let Nate introduce himself.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Nate. Happy to join the Gala team this week as the Townstar social media manager. So please connect with me. I'm going to be in the Discord. I'm looking forward to building relationships with the community and, of course, helping to create a more consistent content flow for Townstar. So yeah, the goal is just to let the world know how awesome the game is and make our socials even more enjoyable for current gamers. So looking forward to connecting with you all and happy to be here.
Welcome, Nate. Yeah, we're all super excited to have Nate join us. Brings with him a lot of experience, crypto and social from other companies that he's worked at in the past. So this is going to be fun. It's especially as we get ramped and turning into Townstar Godot and heading into Townstar Forever.
Oh yeah, big things coming.
Awesome.
Super happy to have you on the team.
Thanks, appreciate you, and yeah, everybody, feel free to reach out to me. I'm gonna drop a message in the Discord right now.
Perfect. Yes, there it is. What is Nate's your Discord name? Nate, what's your name in Discord? They're already asking. Ooh, problem.
You'll see me in a second. I'm Nate the Winner, just like on Twitter. So I'll jump in and say hi to you all right now.
Nate the Winner. Nice. And then Musashi already published out. Do welcome to Townstar, Nate. Cat with the gun riding a unicorn. Awesome. All right. Maybe we take a couple of questions from the community right now. What do you think, Michelle? Anybody see any
Yeah, let's
questions?
do that.
What questions we
Yeah, grab
got?
some live questions.
When swap? That's a question. Does anybody want to get an update on when the town swap's going to happen? I know a couple of people do. We looks like so. The code is finished. They're doing some testing, or at least the code will be finished in the next day or two. We had it basically set up and finished earlier in the week, we thought, but then we ran into an issue that we had to address to make sure that we were doing the swap properly and legally and following all the rules on that. So we have high confidence in next week, and we're trying to help just make sure we hit that 60-day deadline that benefactor set for us about 50 days ago. So things are coming in hot, but high confidence in that. We've seen it work. It's going. We just are making those last minute tweaks. So very, very soon. And for everybody to remember, this is the chance for you to trade your town in at a ratio of 1.25 town to 1 Gala. So that's a pretty nice setup there. That's something that Benefactor and Bitbender worked out after the original number that they were saying was about 2 to 1. They reduced it to be a 1.25 to 1. So there. What else? What other questions are we seeing, guys?
Someone's got to have a question.
Let's see. When TS node vote? To check, I'm not sure what we're going to vote on. If you can drop a note there, that would be helpful. Uh, let's talk about, while we're waiting for some more questions to pop up, let's talk about, oh, look at that, Rod, when Jimmy competition. I'm going to leave that to Mal because he is the Jimmy, he's a Jimmy guy. But let's talk about when do we have earnings coming back on? Well, here's one of the key things, and I was just speaking with Musashi about this earlier, and just kind of get the full kind of detail on everything so we could share notes today. So we originally thought we'd be able to turn them on in February because we thought the game would be out, competitions in and everything, and we would just be testing. We hit some snags and delays, as everybody knows, back a few weeks ago. Part of our network code, part of our network setup, which knocked pretty much our whole schedule off track for a few weeks. We're doing a replan on that right now. And there's two factors that come into play. First, same kind of notes before, finish the features, the competition, sandbox mode, so you can earn town points for placing your NFTs. And then we also want to make sure that the chain is fully ready. I know there was some notes from people asking about when are we going to get a chain explorer. That is supposed to come by the end of March, from what the chain team tells me. So I'm sorry, I was just get lost in one of the questions that was asked there. So we're looking next week. We'll have a note on the replan and when we'll have the features done, so that we can have we can tell you when earnings are going to turn back on. Right now, it's still up in the air because I really want to make sure we get this right. We don't have to do yet another replan or another delay. So it looks like I would say if you wanted to try to pencil in a kind of a realistic date, I would say probably early April, but don't hold me to that. We'll tell you more details on that when we get to when we get through next week. So we'll target next week's AMA. I think if what the production team tells me is true, we'll have a plan by then.
Awesome.
Other notes: how many DAU are doing the playtest? Is it stable and working fine? Yeah, it is. We won't talk about the DAUs, but we do have, I think we had initially 1,200 or so people that could play it, had a large burst of people play it, and get a taste of it, and then have been filing bugs pretty continuously. And as we do new versions, more people jump in. So our servers are standing up just fine. Like I mentioned before, Volcran is pretty satisfied. So part of the delay in getting the first playtest launched was him making sure that the servers were really stable. So things are going well there. And the stability of the servers tells us we can open it up to more people.
Yeah, I can't wait to get more people in the playtest. I just want everybody to see it.
Yeah. Let's see. Um, what other questions do people have? When Jimmy's story continue? Let Mal give an update on that in Mal's time, just in a little bit. Other questions people have, or maybe we just move on and catch some more questions as we go. What do you think, Michelle?
We could always jump right into leaks.
Leaks sounds good. What do you guys think? Time for leaks? Anybody want to know some leaks? Maybe. Will there be a stop all button? Dash, everybody keeps asking that question. We'll think about it. That's all I can say. I know we're gonna get the fast forwarding running and make sure that's stable, and then we'll figure out what's fun and good for everybody, and also fair, and also fair. Trade bot, farm bot info. Again, that's Mal. Nice. Nice picture there, Dash. Let's do some leaks. Let's jump into it. And wait a minute. Did Doodle send in a request if you want to jump on stage? Because there's some obviously some art stuff that we have to share that you could talk about. But let's go ahead, Michelle. Jump in.
Oh, what do we even have for leaks? I'm not even sure. I know we've got art leaks. I don't think I have any Godot leaks this
Oh,
week.
yeah, art leaks. Let me go ahead and let's see if I can pile some of those on there real quick. Share those out. I should have had those queued up and ready. There you go. There's one. This week, Doodle's been focusing on creating crops, right? And trying to make sure that we get we do a couple of things in this. Keep the poly count low, upgrade the visuals, and kind of be clear on how we're going to build this thing. It's really easy to go overboard and target a really amazing photorealistic type of crops, only to find out, wow, that's just too many polygons there, right? Or too deep textures. So there's a lot of work going on to that. And Doodle, who is, I'm not sure if you're here. Well, I know Doodle's been having a lot of power issues in her area and the snowy mountains of Northern California, Nevada border kind of thing. So see if she'll be able to check Discord and see all your guys' notes there. What kind of crops? The good stuff. Nice. Yeah, some of this, yeah, Frank, when we kind of look really close, she and I were zooming in on the grapes and looking at them and then zooming out and trying to get the read between, what do the strawberries look like when you're at a normal game view, and kind of just playing. And I was just kind of surprised at, um, some of the simple things that we could do to just really upgrade the graphics without adding a lot of extra polygons and things. And also simple things like when you're all the way back, the strawberries kind of look like little red tiny dots, almost like they were like cranberries or something like that. So thus you can see the first step there, maybe making those a bit bigger, maybe a little bit exaggerated. I call them caricatures of it because just to kind of make it a little more fun to see it. Looks like there's another leak,
Yeah,
Michelle.
I finally found it. That's our Green Blaster Ghost card. Yeah, as I said, I don't think they'll be out before the start of the competition this coming week. But they may be out mid-competition or for sure before the next round of competition starts. We're having a bit of technical issues.
So for all of the people out there who are going like, okay, what is the Grain Blaster? Why do I love it? Can you share a little bit more about it?
Yeah, that was the NFT reward from our competition, 2 competitions ago, I think it was. That's a
Mhm.
feed mill ghost card. So it's just a ghost card, no visual effects on the feed mill at all. And each level will reduce the craft time of feed by 1 second. So a common ghost card would make your feed mills produce their feed 1 second faster than they would without the ghost card, and up to an ancient would drop 6 seconds off of your feed mill craft time.
Dash says, I don't care what it does. Best name ever. Grain Blaster. Rocket Unit. How does these crops will look when the farmer's caring for them? Not sure what that means. Same kind of thing. He'll walk up to it, harvest it, a pop like they kind of normally do, and then move on. What else? What else? Is it time for Mal's story time?
I don't know. I haven't been hearing from him. I'm not sure where he is.
I think I saw his creepy figure show up just a minute ago.
Yeah, I'm around. I've definitely not been up to anything whatsoever. So I guess I can. Well, I guess I'll just confess, shall I?
Yeah.
While you're
Well,
not listening at all, Sage, because your ears are covered and you're just not listening.
all right.
So it's
Go.
all good because everyone, I'm going to confess that the portal was late. If people remember, it was supposed to be already in and it wasn't in, but I was just like, oh well, the engineer's on vacation. And I wasn't lying, but there was a reason. Now I need to introduce you to someone who isn't here right now. But he's very important to Townstar, and I think everyone will know why when I explain. You see, we all know one odd gent, also known as Todd, one of our amazing artists. If you look in the store and open sea or inventories, you will see the magic that he does. But we also have a 3D artist called Brian. And if you like any sort of Townstar NFTs, crafts, buildings, you can almost be certain this man made it. He is a legend, a crafter of wonderful stuff. And he remains in the shadowy realms. This is where he forges his things, you see. So I went to visit him and to check on the portal. I was with the engineer, very normal. We were going to pick it up and deliver it into Townstar so we could get that feature rolling. But when we arrived, Brian was gone and the portal was on and it looked a little different. And it was quickly discovered that the portal had taken Brian. And this wasn't good. And then the engineer said he wasn't going to touch it until it had been fixed. And then he needed a week off to comprehend that Brian was gone and he'd gone through a portal. And Michelle didn't mute her microphone and typed loudly.
So
But
sorry.
anyway, but yeah, so at this moment, I had to then sort of realize what I was going to do. There was no way I was going to call Sage and tell him that not only had his artist been taken by a portal, that his engineer had also gone because he needed time off. So we were down 2 people. Operation Nothing to See Here, boss, was in full swing. I knew I had to get Brian back, and then that meant the engineer was back, and then we could just have the portal, and it never happened. So I went and got my club, my trusty club, because I was going through that portal. I had no idea where I was going. So I got it. I came back and I go through the portal. I'm now in this barren land. I've never seen such land. It wasn't Earth. I'd never seen these stars or these moons. There was many. It was an odd system. There was a smoke in the air. It's just horrible. Didn't look nice, lifeless. I didn't know where to start. Where'd you find Brian? Where could Brian even be? Did Brian come through the same door? Who knows? But I was going to find Brian because there was no way I was ringing Sage to tell him we were down 2 staff. No way. You're not listening, Sage, so you don't know any of this happened.
Now I know. Now I know a little bit more detail than I knew before. It's fun finding out live in the AMA.
So anyway, I'm roaming around and I noticed this canyon, and I go and stroll down the canyon because there was nowhere else. Flatlands, places I can't see in the distance, smoking one. So fine, we'll take the sketchy canyon. So I'm heading down this canyon, and I notice a engraved slab on the wall. So I begin reading. I could understand this language, which was odd to me, but I read it. It spoke of a corrupted lands, guarded by the corrupted, the beasts, because these lands held treasures. These lands had been, we could say gifted, but I think the word was more cursed with many powerful objects. And that is why these beasts roamed and protected such things. Spoke of cave systems spread across the whole land, many of them, many things to find. And while I was enjoying trying to read this slab, figuring maybe Brian read it, maybe it said somewhere, Maybe that's where Brian decided he wanted to go. And 2 bugs just emerged out the wall. And they were like giant beetles, dog-sized beetles, with legs that I'd never seen, so creepy. And then, to my surprise, one of these bugs said, "You there, strange creature. What are you doing on these lands?" So I looked at him in shock and said, "I'm looking for my friend Brian. Have you seen him?" He replied, "I won't help you find your friend. I owe you nothing." So I raised me club and smashed him against the wall. And as his green, gooey guts slid down the wall and pieces of keratin shell hit the floor, I looked at his friend and I said, "Now we're both down a friend. And I give you one chance. You can help me find Brian or you're going to suffer the same fate." Now this creature agreed. He said, "Fine. I have one question." I agreed. He said, "Who are you? And how did you get here?" I said, "I'm Mal." And that's 2 questions. And we set off in search of Brian. I got to know this little creature as he scurried along. I asked him questions. Turns out he knows things. He'd heard of Townstar, which was odd to me. But we spoke. He liked shiny stars when I told him about it. He liked the idea of a money system where you didn't have to scavenge things, you could just exchange it. He found this wonderful. He said he knew of many such treasures, which was great. And he gave me warnings and so on. And I couldn't pronounce his name, so I named him Legs. So from now on, he'll always just be known as Legs, because he had odd legs, and he was an odd creature, but he was helping us find Brian, and he was a friend of ours now. So we're roaming down its strange lands, and we come across a cave. And he says to me, "Mal, I can go no further. This is not a safe place, and I recommend you don't go either." But I explained we had to get Brian, because there was no way we were calling Sage to tell him we were 2 staff down. And he didn't understand what any of this meant. But he said, should I survive and find Brian and get back, I could find him. And maybe we'd arrange something one day. We could carry on the friendship. There could be goods. We could learn from each other. This was wonderful. So he left and scurried off, and I stood in front of the cave, and above it was a black and gold symbol with 2 snakes. And it said, "Corrupted, forbidden." And I thought, this is curious, because I could see some footprints. They looked human. It must be Brian. And I'll tell you the rest of this story next week, in the next AMA, because I am certain it is going to melt some minds. It's going to get interesting, and what follows even more interesting. So I'm just going to leave that there and hope everyone turns up next Friday to listen to the rest. And of course, what follows. And what I will lead straight into is the portal. Michelle said at the start, because of my poor communication skills, to let her know that I was going to try and push the portal in on Monday, because it is technically ready, just needed one slight tweak that I'm hoping can be done on Monday morning, and maybe get it in Monday night. It's definitely not a promise, but I would like to get it in. It was a very important part of the feature and the planning that originally went into the method anyway. So I want to get that in, and we'll try anyway. I'm just hoping the engineer is able to recover mentally that, you know, such dimensions exist and whatnot, and come back and fix the remaining piece, because Brian isn't here to do it. How terrible. And I haven't even checked the Discord. I can see tags, so I don't know what's going on. But
It's
I
mostly
think
just memes. You're doing good.
it's just me. It's okay. I don't know what was next? Is it there's a sale next? Because I think all the meta stuff's out now. Other than I'm going to try and get the portal in. I'll tell you what I planned for the portal, which I suppose that might get people a little bit excited and get their brains thinking. Right now, as it stands, the portal, you'll be able to craft 250,000 stars for 1.5 million in-game cash every 5 minutes. That's 300 seconds. 12 times an hour. If my maths is right, probably not. It's been a long day already. Anyway, it'll have the same costs as the research centre. But if my maths hasn't failed me, that means you'll be able to, in 20 purchases, pay for itself. The costs and whatever else, should have just wrote them all down so I wasn't trying to do things off the top of my head. But it should be, just embarrassing myself now. So it's about 18 million an hour in cash. If you can make that, you can get yourself 3 million stars an hour. Now, people are probably thinking to themselves, well, how many portals can we have? Did you make it just one? I didn't. I wanted to see the effects of what happens if you don't make it just one. How do I know? And it's interesting because I think it was Will. Curious if you could just make a cash build. I don't believe so. It's going to be a little bit tricky tonight. You've still got to pay 5 million stars each one and then get a very good cash flow going, as well as keep up with everyone's fancy cake points. But I'm curious if someone's going to try that strategy. But that's the details anyway if it goes in. It'll require a paved road also, and it'll give free shade, and it'll have $1,000 a minute wages. It'll cost you 2 million in cash, so if you want to go spamming portals, and I hope you've got a build ready to support that, and I look forward to seeing your strategies. But for most of you who are just going to build one in, I also want to hear how that does, how often you use it. Do you find yourself just there because you've got to come back and click craft? You know, it wasn't just going to auto craft and pull your money out every time. You want those stars, you come back and click craft. So I'm curious if the people enjoy that aspect, take advantage, don't take advantage, let me know. It's important. And this will be phase 2 if it goes in, but if it doesn't, then it'll be in the next competition, just to be clear. But this one was designed based around it being in, so I would like it in. I'm not sure if there's anything else. Was it the sale next, or was there more leaks?
Nope, we're moving on to sales.
Okay, so someone actually asked this. I think it was the other AMA, maybe the week before, and I gave a straight answer, just yes and nothing else. Well, here we are. Now, excuse me, it's a cough. I don't know if these will come back again. So maybe these will be the last time, you know, because we're going to do a 48-hour flash sale, but I think, you know, we'll just do the 48 hours and we'll see. It's going to be the cakery and bakery. Sorry, I was shouldn't be reading messages while I'm speaking. It's going to be the cakery and bakery. It's going to be the remaining supply, so it's not brand new. It's just what was left from the last time when they were taken out. I've got those numbers that will go back into the store. So it'll be 1,882 cakery, 1,911 bakery. These are rare NFTs. But as we said when these were last up there, that they might not come back the same price, and they won't. Nor might they ever come back again. But if they do, again, same rules apply. The cakery is now 200. I think those numbers are the wrong way round. The cakery is now $220 and the bakery $200. So sorry, I've corrected those. So they're the right numbers on my sheets. They're the wrong way round. Hot boy. So I'll say that again. There's the cakery, $220. Store supply, 1,882, 1,882. The bakery, also a rare. Store supply, 1,911, 1,911. And that'll be $200. They'll be in the store for 48 hours only and then gone. I am definitely not setting a date on when they will return because I don't think they will or should. But we will see. Oops, says Top Boy. No problem. So that's the details. That'll be all the usual payment styles, the three, as I assume. I'm not sure with the swap being so close if that would change. I don't think it is. I'm sure Top Boy will put any details in the chat if it has. So expect the usual Town Gala and credit card options. And that'll go on Monday. That'll be a 48-hour flash sale. I think, what is it, 11 a.m. PST that we're doing them? If I remember right, because we've changed the time now. We've been doing a sort of earlier time. And I believe that's the time. Is there anything I've missed, Michelle?
We've got the big pantry going on sale very soon.
Oh my God, how could I forget? Because it's already been leaked and it's all out and posted. You know, I technically did want to just wait to the AMA and just do it that way. But you, of course, need the time and whatever else. So it was shared early. But yes, the big pantry, you know, it was funny how it's funny how many times there's things there lined up that then people start immediately asking, like, when is this coming? It's just like, oh my God, it's just like they can see. I always say it's like they can see into me mind, and I don't like it. The big pantry is coming. It'll hold 60 capacity of jam, honey, and honeycomb, and any other future crafts that, of course, go into the pantry because they never usually end at just free. It has one shade, so it's not going to be casting mountains of that. Does need a road and does not have priority over the in-game pantry. So enjoy having that extra space. I know Dragon owners are probably going to appreciate that, not having to have two. If you're using them during the meta, of course, there's a lot of honey and some honeycomb in this one for the research buffs. But I think people are using, what, 7 or 8 pantries to store that. Yeah, some of that stuff. So that'll definitely help there. And of course, your jam rush. I've seen so many comments about having a jam rush now. Well, there you go. Now you've got a big beefy pantry to stash all that jam in. Or there's a cool message coming that I thought was cleverly written. Jam it all in. Anyway, so that's the sale that is coming today. That is $100. I'm not sure what time, but it is in the post. That's in the Town Star announcements. It's $100. All 3 options as mentioned: Gala, credit card, and Town. Definitely don't think I've missed anything else.
Nope, I think that was it.
I see some stuff around TradeBot and FarmBot, and I feel like, well, first of all, I'll address there was some speculation in the chat around earnings for the TradeBot, but I cleared that up. That was a community member that had said that, no one from internal. And it's a reminder that moderators, the purple moderators, are community members. There was some belief that mods were staff. They are not. They are, of course, amazing and do great work for us, but they are not employed by Gala and are not staff, and therefore are community members when they speak, and their speculation is the same as your speculation, and do not just decide that as fact or certainty. I would look for the publicly stated stuff from either the team or in announcements. I understand this stuff happens sometimes, and confusion and whatever else, and it just spreads around, but I just want to be very clear that moderators are still community members as well. And there's often a lot of speculation, and then I get sent a screenshot from a community member, and I'm always just like, well, I'm so confused by this, but just, you know, even staff get it wrong sometimes. So I'm not saying that it's always, you know, things don't just get said and then changed, but in a lot of cases, it's usually just the community members decided something or speculated based on whatever reasons they've thought are great, and then they share it as hard fact, and that can be confusing to others because they haven't got time to go and scour a Discord and check, and sometimes they don't want to ask and look stupid in case everyone's like, duh, there it is. So I understand that. So some people will just assume things because it's said and no one like challenges it. For example, if no one challenges it, then it's probably assumed that it's true. Stuff like that happens all the time in the real world, and it just definitely happens on the internet. So just a reminder there to just be careful on speculation. It can be harmful. It can set expectations. People make decisions on stuff like that. I always try and come in and stop speculation. I know it breaks your heart sometimes, but it's just more painful to allow it to go on and build up, a bunch of hype and things for just stuff that just doesn't exist or has never been said or even thought of sometimes. But around the trade boss, as I say, there's still a lot of work going on for Godot. And I need to be on there so I can have an actual conversation and look, because we've got a lot of work to do. And I can't just be turning up and just being like, well, I've said, it's going to do this. And that's, a whole host of work that we just couldn't jam in for many, many months. I don't think anyone would appreciate it, to be honest. So I think we'd all just rather have an honest aspect. As I've said previously, one of its likely one of the cool features about it will be that it trades sort of any number. I just don't know if how much work is that for a user to have a UI interface that just says, all right, you can sell, 1, 12, 18, 91, whatever. We just don't know. And as I say, there's all kinds of having a dragon, having a UFO, do they all work together and have some fun there? And the trade, just there's a lot of stuff we can do, but I just need to look at Godot when it's not putting pressure on the team while they're trying to get it up. People want in and people want to get the competitions going on there. There's a lot of really important work that needs to be done. And I just think you'd rather us focus on that. I know most of you would, and I appreciate it's not fun to wait, but I don't know. I don't know how many times I can say it. It's just much better if we just wait and have a look and then decide. The farm bot, that's an old one as well, and I know what its original utility was intended and how that was originally designed in what they were thinking. Not that it was ever fully that. There was obviously the box coin, which was the old town coin, and that was just such long ago now. And then its actual in-game utility, other than that, was around helping with obviously farm work and stuff like that. So it was always planned to be a really useful bot, put it that way. And I would always I have a thing where I like to try and respect as much as I can, especially the old things and the things that are sort of cool and rare and special and whatever else. I do try my best on that. I'm not always going to get it perfect. Can't always do it, but I will try, and I'll of course do that with a farm bot and a trade bot and the boom bot. I know there's just so many there that are all lining up for utility, but we may as well just get on Godot first. Otherwise, it's just more promises and waiting and whens and you said this and delays, and it's just no point. We're going to get there, and I'll do my best to make it great, is what I'll say.
All right. Thanks, Mal. Before we end today, why don't we look for some more questions out of the community? I know there was a lot popping up, a lot of memes popping up too. Anybody have different questions? Non-leak questions. Mal, tell us about the golden goose. Nothing more to share about that yet.
That's a Musashi. Tag him. I get so many tags for that goose. So tag Musashi and Mysterious and Sage and hammer them. Tell us more about the goose. That is their project. So you can poke them for leaks, get them used to it, warm them up.
I want an operations manager bot that does whatever needed in the town while I'm gone. That's sort of like the automatic just play me dash. This month's ghost card. We have any leaks on that?
We do not have any leaks yet. We'll play the fair competition and then we'll get to that.
NFT Chuck, did I hear return of earnings is scheduled on for May? I said that we're in a replanning process right now. I would say think about April, but we'll have some more definite information next week. When can we test a new town star? Delano, we're opening up the allow list, as Michelle said a little bit earlier. So that'll probably happen early next week. And like we also mentioned, we're going to try to create more frequent, smaller updates to the playtest so that everybody can see, see everything as it's coming on into the game and tested, and you guys can play with the new stuff. Any info on the new item that will be sold in not really packs? Not sure what that means, Lucifer. Maybe you can share a little bit more information. Michelle, can you share about how people know if they're qualified for the new expanded allow list?
It'll be when the strawberry storage NFTs get sent, which hopefully will be relatively soon in the next week or two. If we open up the playtest to more people before those get sent, you'll just have to click the link. It's on the main Gala website. It's all the way down on the bottom of the games list. You can see it. I think it says like Townstar playtest, Townstar Godot playtest maybe. But you can click on that whenever you want, and it'll either open or it won't open, and that's how you'll know if you can play.
Maybe also do some rolls, depending how many. Remember, we talked about adding extra rolls there, so we'll check on that as well. So maybe make it a little bit obvious, as obvious as we can make it. What else? Other questions? Smoogie Old Milk says, when small lumber storage? Sounds like a Mal question.
Yeah, we've got plenty on the list of things like that. It's just getting round, you know. Otherwise, there'd be about 400 sales a week, Smoogie. And we want to get other content and things done as well. So yes, all those things are definitely on the list.
Ed77 says, if Townstar economy is supposed to be circular, how does credit card purchases of NFTs fit into the economy? And different from saying circular, we call it non-inflationary. And the light paper's out there, and if people are wondering what Ed777 is asking about, we're actually Ed, you'd be happy to know we were actually having a meeting about that yesterday. Maybe I think it was Wednesday actually, about how do we do that? How do we look into it? There's obviously, we've talked about before how there's legal and financial issues about tying credit card purchases to Gala distribution, and the shorthand was we want to be very careful not to mix the streams, not to accidentally get ourselves in a position we don't want to be in, either legally or financially, accounting wise, accounting law. So that's still being worked out. Just letting you know that it is something that's in our mind and that we're hearing you when you're asking about it. I'm not sure if it's you, but it always seems like somebody asks about it every single week. So keep asking. When we have more news and more exact data, we'll share it, of course. Oh, speaking of which, I noticed a couple of people sent me some DMs. I see them. I haven't responded to them. I've got so many of them. The chance to respond to every single one of them is a little bit tough, but I do want to say thank you for sending those notes. Tofu, I know you had sent some stuff. Read through it. Very helpful. Thank you. Other questions? Other questions?
I'll explain about someone asked, like, don't understand about the bakery and the cakery. It's very simple. If you got it back then, you don't pay this price now. You got it much cheaper. And that's kind of the whole point. They were taken from the store, and those who got them. And now that they're back in the store, if you want one, well, then there's the new price. And that's very simple. And those who got back then don't have to sort of worry about that. That's sort of reward for those people who do buy things from the store, you know? It's they got them then. They didn't pay the extra price. We've done this before across. There's been tiers before. The stores worked in multiple different ways before in terms of prices going up, and those who got earlier sort of having that benefit. So it's a fairly normal thing. We just don't do it all the time on Townstar, but we've definitely done it. And I'm not going to say we wouldn't do it again in the future. But with the bakery and cakery, they were in store for a bit, taken out. Now they're going in store for a bit, and they'll be taken back out.
Let's see, other questions. May Mayhem. Are we doing May Mayhem? Let me check on that. I may be able to have a live answer in just 30 seconds or so.
Even if not, there'll be some mayhem metas. We'll make sure of that.
Townstar Mayhem. Townstar
Absolute
Mayhem.
chaos. Chaos.
Townstar Meta Mayhem. There you go.
Yeah, absolute chaos. There'll be all sorts.
I'm kind of curious about all that corruption you were talking about earlier. Sounds like it's perfectly queued up for something, some sort of mayhem.
Yeah, well, next week. And you'll hear more about that, boss, with your ears covered.
Yeah. So here's the update of the update. So no official word yet on Giant, Gallowide Mayhem, but we will of course have something special for Townstar. So for everybody asking, so more news when we have details on that. Michelle,
People
anybody
LV
else?
asking.
Postman. Yeah, I
Go
see a
ahead.
question from LV Postman who seems to think that we're all ignoring him for some reason. We do see your question. It is a feature request. We did talk about that earlier today also because someone else asked if they could have a stop all workers thing, and SageMaker said we'd look into it. Right now, we're not taking feature requests to put into the game right this second, as we're just trying to get to parity in the features that we've already got planned. But we will look into adding more features to the game as it goes. Yes.
Alvy, we would mute you. We'd save that for Willow.
I
Just
never
kidding.
even seen him
Just
ask.
kidding. Willow did delay everybody getting added to the playtest. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, he didn't. Or did he? Anyways, thank you. I think we're kind of coming to a good ending point here. Any last questions? See dubstep typing. Yes, it's coming. I heard yes to Mayhem. There's a yes to Townstar Mayhem. No official word yet on a Gallowide Mayhem. Okay, well, anybody on stage have any last minute things to add or share?
Milk's been a
Nothing
lot
for me.
fresher lately. Well done, everyone.
Nope.
What was that about milk? Well,
I just said the milk's been a lot fresher lately, so I was saying
fresh
well done,
milk.
everyone.
Fresh milk. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for all the questions and the feedback and input from everybody in the community. Thank you for, as Mouse said, all the fresh milk. It's very much appreciated, and helping other new players get started as well. As we kind of always talk about, you guys are very important for a new player experience, and it's great when people jump in and say, "How do I do X?" and you guys are just there with a lot of helpful information, advice. Even now and then sharing towns, right? Sharing how your town looks so new people can get started well. And also thank you from the team because, it's a lot of fun for everybody to join us and interact with you guys, see what you're thinking. Some good comedic moments emerge, good memes. So really appreciate that. And with that, thank you to everybody on stage for joining us. And I guess we'll call it a wrap. We'll be right here at almost 1 hour perfectly. So thanks again, everybody. I'll see you in Discord and have a great weekend. Great day.